right now. We have a 20-second delay. I'm just going to go ahead and be like, hey, what's up, Facebook? I'm here with the positive side. Can you believe that? The positive side, hanging out with the voice of a generation. None
That's
other
right.
than
Two names we just generated ourselves. Nice.
Dude, there's another guy that I'm around with in one the thing that at least, and by the way, we're live, dude. So he was it manufactured celebrity, right? Just like all those other guys. So there we are. We are
like me in my own mind, right?
That's right. Legend in our own minds.
Right.
So guys, welcome to Hey Charlie Lee, Steve Potter. What is up, Steve
What's up,
Potter?
Steve Potter? What's up?
Oh my goodness, Elise is on there. Everybody, Meg, Dave. What's up, guys? So listen,
wait, you said Elise is on here?
Elise, the Elise Archer. So man, hey, put on your A game.
Pressure's on now.
The pressure is on. Don't mess this up.
Well, this is, I can't say my phone now because Elise will call me out.
What's up, Robert? We got to connect, brother. We got to connect. So here we are. It's the positive side and fatherhood for the rest of us. It's kind of the story of the year for us, anyways. The story of the year. And what's up, brother? Dave Gieselman, play.
How do I look to see who's on? Because I can't. All I see is
you got to bust open. You got to.
If I minimize it, then
you got to open up Facebook Live and hop on in there and be with us. So Jeremy's getting acquainted with using Zoom and going Facebook Live, guys. So bear with us 1 second, and we're jumping into it. But what we're doing today is Jeremy and I have been on quite the journey this past year, and we were like, hey man, let's just get together, do a Facebook Live. Let's be it's Thanksgiving week. Let's express some gratitude. Let's talk about the journey of where we've gone to and through this year. And maybe, I don't know if we're going to inspire some people or maybe drive some people away, but we're going to do something. And, but one thing, and this is something actually that I learned from Elise, my coach now, my ex-coach. Now is she your boss, dude? Is she your boss? Is that how this works?
You know what? You can call her whatever you want, but I am blessed.
Yeah,
I believe to walk into that gold mine. I mean, are you kidding me?
Oh man, perfect. So listen, Elise Archer was my coach not too long ago. She's an amazing person. Gratitude, Dave G.
What's up, Dave?
So
that's how you start gratitude out right there. Is that like the definition right there?
I don't want any, but I want more. Elise. Yeah, exactly. So I connected with Elise, and when we were coaching, this is what I learned from her. We start off every call with man, tell me something good that's going on in your life, dude. And I know you've got a lot going on, so tell me, Jeremy Todd, the positive side. Now with Southwestern Consulting.
Look at that. It should be the light, shouldn't it?
What is going on that's good in your life, brother? Tell everybody else what's happening.
Well, I'm glad we got some time because it's gonna take some time, man. You talk about gratitude. I am very, very blessed. I mean, you know that, bro. Just the whole last year. And I joke around all the time on my podcast that if you could take right now where you are, right this second, so whoever is out there, Meg, Elise, Dave, Meg again, whoever else is out there watching this, if you could take where you are right now and imagine where you'd be if you just take a couple of steps and continue to move forward, where you'll be next year, man, I tell you what, you have a lot to be grateful for. I mean, it's unbelievable. I working with Southwestern Consulting, like you said, I walked into that gold mine because of, number one, taking steps. We talked about that a million times, getting out of the comfort zone, but meeting Brandon Hanley. Then all of a sudden, Brandon Hanley's like, hey, let's talk to Elise. And all of a sudden now Elise, I'm talking to Southwestern Consulting. And, man, it's a wild, wild whirlwind, man. I mean, I'm very blessed. I have a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Ton for the people I know because, it's interesting now with Southwestern Consulting that I'm calling some of the people that I've talked to in my life and my friends and my family, and it's just been doors wide open. Right. So I'm grateful for everybody I know. I'm grateful for the friends, and that's one thing that I've learned a long time ago, man. You be authentic at all times. Be grateful and be authentic, and if you're those two things, you don't need anything else to worry about.
Yeah, man. No. So here's I want to give a little bit of a rundown too for those that don't know the whole story, or at least the story of this year, where you and I both started our podcast, yep, right around the same time, and
You have a great podcast, by the way.
Two amazing podcasts that are taking the world by storm. The you were like a little bit ahead of me in getting it going and signing up with Sam Crowley, our podcast coach, and I was following your lead a little bit there, brother, and so I was like, hey, Jeremy's doing this, and you and I had a conversation. You were my first guest. You were my first on the podcast, and I wasn't sure.
One thing you'll never forget.
I don't know that I was actually a little concerned about moving forward after that.
I'm sure you were, because so was I.
And you know, we were technically challenged, man, to even do that. We couldn't figure out Skype. It took me, I think, 3 hours we are in America, Kermit. Both of us are in North Carolina.
That's weird too, you know it?
Yeah. And so we connected, first guest, we went back and forth. We encouraged each other. We would ping each other and be like, man, I think that yours could use this. And letting each other know. We'd encourage each other. We hooked up at an event in Cincinnati this summer, and Jeremy struck me. One of the things Jeremy did that I loved, like he walked up, and one of the things that he was asked while he walked up there was, how do you know that you're going to get the job? How do you know things are going to go well and whatnot? And Jeremy, you just said, you just go up and you say, 100% without a doubt that you got it, and conviction. So, I mean, I learned that from you, having that. And I learned that you like gangster rap to get yourself going.
And coffee.
And we just kept pushing each other. And it wasn't like pushing each other in a I'm challenging you kind of way. You showed up at the triathlon with your kids to support me, meet up with Meg. We spent Father's Day together. So, I mean, it's just been a kind of a cool year that totally unexpected. And I'm grateful for you, brother, I
appreciate that, my friend,
to have pushed me to do what I've done this year. And I'm grateful, man. Aaron Vahala. Aaron. So this guy, Aaron, right here that just joined, he and I we actually went head to head to have the job that I've got now like 7 years ago, but he's now in an awesome place too, with his children. And just a lot of people to be grateful for to be where we are today.
Well, hey, let's talk about something real quick, Brian, because, before we came on, I was kind of picking your brain a little bit. You talk about being grateful. I know that's what we're on here for, but we mentioned Dave. Is Dave still on here? Hopefully Dave's
somewhere out there. Yeah. What's up, Dave? Throw some thumbs up, Dave, if you're still
Dave. What's up, brother? Well, we talked about Dave going out on a limb, and I know he's got a ton to be grateful, but one of the things you said, he quit drinking, I don't know how many years ago.
Yeah, years ago.
I mean, so I think that's just awesome. And I was just curious. I asked you this, just the genuine question is, how long are you going to continue to do this? At some point you're like, does it take a world of its own? Is it more that I'm going through this just to see how long I can go through it? Does it become like a badge of honor at some point that you look back and say, okay, I've been sober for this long? Does it change that, or does it just become part of life? That's the question I got for you.
You know what, man? It's not a thing. That's it. It's not a thing. It wasn't serving me anymore. That's what it kind of boiled down to. Everything that we're talking about here, like being grateful for living. I felt like I was not grateful the next day if I was drinking for living, right? Or like I would be making progress and going forward with life and the podcast, and I'd be charging, I'd be like or training for stuff, and then I'd drink and I'd lose a couple of days. I'm like, man, all that progress I made, and I'm setting myself back. So it really became something that just wasn't serving me anymore. And that is it. And so it just kind of literally fell away as kind of like, I always make fun of myself and be like, I'm kind of like what was Tom Hanks, the Forrest Gump, right? When he starts running and he's still got like his leg braces on, and he starts running and then they just kind of fall away, right? Like the leg braces fall away and he just takes off. Well, that's just kind of what it was like for me, man. I was just life was going on, and these that they fell away. The drinking just fell away. And I feel so much better.
What kind of impact has that made on your family?
Dude, I mean, look at Meg. She's saying yes. She's all hearts. The impact has been I wanted to talk about one thing that really I recognized is that for example, I was able to take Finn to the hospital the other night without being worried about getting pulled over. All right, that's an impact. My son, I don't want to like my son's family jewels have been saved because I was sober, right?
Family name continues.
It wasn't an emergency, like it wasn't an emergency situation, and it didn't require surgery. But in the back of my head, it maybe if I'd been drinking, then it doesn't turn out that same way, right? Maybe if I've been drinking, then I'm not able to get in the car. I'm not able to take a man, or I'm like, hey, look, that's not cool. You're gonna be fine, dude. You're gonna be fine, right? But instead, I was like, look, we're hopping in the car, we're going down to the hospital, and we're taking care of this. I basically, I feel like I released myself from a prison, man, because like as soon as you start having a couple drinks, you're like, well, I can't drive now.
Yeah, right.
Drive. And what was funny was like the first week not having a couple drinks, I'd be like, I'm gonna go to the store, and it's 8:00 at night. I haven't driven at night for like years, Right. I'm gonna go get some butter because I can.
You're not looking in your rearview mirror either, you know what I mean?
Right. And so, or like feeling guilty that I just hopped in the car. So I basically freed myself from a self-imposing prison, and among other things. And so also the relationship with Meg has gotten, better. Not to say that it was ever poor. And the relationship with my children is better. My health is better, just all in, my bank account. Like, look, people just think, it's not just the amount of money that I was spending on beer. And I've got the app. I mean, I don't know, it's only $10 a day, but like that adds up over time. And then, but just imagine, so if you drink and then you're like, what's on Amazon that I need tonight? Absolutely nothing. But I'm like, I've been drinking.
Your personal production too goes down.
All kinds of things. So the overall, everything is better. And
well, here's a question: what if nothing would have changed?
What if nothing would have changed, man? Then I think everything would be the, so nothing changed. Everything stays the same, right? I think that maybe I put on some more weight. I feel like maybe my health isn't as good. I feel like my relationship with my children isn't as good. I don't have my video series done over at fatherhoodbydesign.xyz. That's not up there, but it's up there now, right? Because that's been done. Meg's not wearing the fatherhood for the rest of us hat with the logo on it, right? So she's not supporting me if I'm still doing all those things. I'm sure she's still supporting me, but all those things aren't getting done.
It's impactful to think about that, isn't it?
Dude, I mean, listen,
that's the grateful stuff I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the small, seemingly insignificant changes day after day that add up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I always like to look at, if what and again, I'm always looking, which is again partially not the best thing in the world, but I'm always looking in the future. So imagine where you are now to where you're going to be another year from now, continuing to do the same things. And same thing with Meg. So I see Meg just crushing it at CrossFit.
Are you kidding me, dude? Like, I mean, yeah, look at what she's done. And
she's going to be beating you in the triathlon soon, bro.
Yeah, dude, listen, I mean, she's taken amazing strides this year too. So, I mean, what's funny is, like, I think I thought about this yesterday, taking out the trash, is that literally, our lives have changed dramatically within a year with again, just small, seemingly insignificant changes every day. But I mean, look at you too, again, right? Like, so I'm gonna flip it back over to you, where you did like 900 podcasts this year, and like 3 a day, but those, you got up, you did it, you I don't know how many podcast downloads you got this year, like 10,000 million.
Let's see. It kind of died off a little bit, but I'm at 50,000 probably.
50,000. So, I mean, dude, you skyrocketed, you got up, you did it every day, and people reached out to you, and hearing that you're impacting lives. I want to ask you, how does that make you feel when people are reaching out to you? So we're Thanksgiving. People are reaching out to you, sending you emails saying, hey, man, thanks for the motivation. Thanks for sharing this story. Thanks for sharing that story. How does that make you feel when you know that you're out there impacting lives today, right now?
That's great. It's a great question. And I think this is a lot of times what not only me, but you and anyone else doing in this like space where we help people feel good. A lot of times we don't get that time to say, you know what, you're making it in, because we want to help everybody else out. You know what I mean? I think that's important to ask people that every once in a while, because in reality, and this is what I've said this 1,000 times, I am not in the podcasting for the money. There's no question about that, because I'm not making any money. It's pretty obvious. That's what it is. But the doors that have opened up and the opportunities that have come up, and I'm going to butcher this saying, and it's a Southwestern consulting saying. I think it's Rory Vaden saying, I think it's Rory Vaden. For the things you do today, you may not get paid today, or for hard work. That's what he talks about. You may not get paid today. You may not get paid tomorrow, but eventually, always. Which makes a lot of sense. The harder you work today, the harder you work. Like I said, sometimes you want that instant payoff. And that's what's great about starting the podcast, is that these other doors have opened. I worked my tail off for months and months and months. And these opportunities were just growing. And you don't realize what's out there until you go out and start doing those things. But, as well as I do, so often we sit back and just, we sit from the sidelines. We watch people do it instead of actually doing it.
Yeah.
It's just so important to get out there, man, and change those lives. I do hear stories, and I do get emails, and that's what's made it nice with Southwestern, is that, I've reached out to my friends that have been listening to the podcast, and it's the easiest transition in the world, because it's genuine, it's real. I haven't been in it for the money, and I want to help people out, and people need help. I need help. I have a coach. I have two coaches right now. Sam Crowley's my coach, and Elise is my coach, and I'm blessed to have them.
Dude,
I got two rock stars. Right
that's atomic right there. That's atomic.
Exactly. I mean, who can stop me when you got two people like that in your corner?
No, absolutely.
It's like a boxer. If you imagine a boxing ring, you go out there and you just get beat up, and then you go to your corner, and then I got Sam Crowley and Elise. One's throwing water at me, one's telling me what I'm doing wrong. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be your cut guy. I think that the other thing that I want to throw out there too is, like, I mean, you didn't just do the podcast. You also you did some local meetups. You set up some local meetups. Yeah. And what's awesome is you set up the one local meetup, and you were about to can it. You're about to be like, hey, there's like one person that's going to go, and I'm not feeling it. And you went anyways. Why don't you tell us what the outcome of that was? Feeling like not showing up, and then just showing up anyways. What happens? Yeah, well,
that's exactly right. You show up, even when, like you said, all the odds are against you, you don't want to, is bummed out. So I had a meetup with, I think originally I had 10 people or 12 people scheduled in. And with meetup, you can kind of see who's scheduled in, who's scheduled out. And all of a sudden you just see them, bing, they're just dropping like flies. And I get down to one person. I'm like, I did it on Sunday morning, because in the car business, that's the day you get, in Indiana, you get that day off. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just go out and say hi. They took the time, and that opportunity opened the door for my first meetup, which I got to speak in front of my first time in front of 20-ish people. And that opportunity allowed me to get used to what I'm doing now with speaking with Southwestern Consulting. So again, man, it's just getting out there. It's just doing something different, taking those steps, and not settling. And it's so important to do that. But again,
I think something else, like, to highlight there is that, that's actually a pretty fast success in all things considered, to go from within 6 months to be just kind of, doing the car business, quitting all that. You shut it all down, focus on the podcast by itself. 6 months later, you're up in front of people speaking and selling a podcast course, dude. I mean, that's tremendous. Come on now.
Again, I just think it's no matter what you're told, you just keep going. And I'm a big fan of positive affirmations. And I've actually, can't really see, but I've got them posted on my wall now, my positive affirmations. And those are the things that, I'll tell you what my positive affirmation. I've got one that says, I will do whatever it takes for my family, which is, no matter what, you're getting beat up, that's what you do. I will make one more call. So whenever you're done making calls, I make one more call. Right. I will have fun making my calls.
Yes, you will.
I have to sell people in order to change their life. And I love that one, because that just tells you people won't openly admit to say, hey, I need a coach.
Right.
I think we all need a coach. I owe it to myself to be number one. I mean, stuff like that, man.
Right.
Yeah, you can tell I'm a positive dude, and pat myself on the back. I'm more positive than a lot of people I know, but those are the things that help me get to the next level. And a vision board. I got my vision board back there. I don't know if you can see my vision board.
I see it, brother. I see it.
It's not completely done, but it's back there.
I'm looking for my picture.
It's you know what obviously I got some family. I got wants to take one more step.
You got room for me.
I got room for you, brother.
Brother, you got room for me.
I want to do a TED Talk one of these days too,
absolutely,
man.
Absolutely.
I think that's what you wanted to do.
I think a TED Talk should be on everybody's bucket list, brother. I think everybody should give one TED Talk before they. I think it should be mandatory. Because I think that everybody's got something amazing to share. Those guys, they practice for, I think, like 40 to 70 hours for that 15-minute speech. So I think anybody within 40 to 70 hours can figure out 15 minutes and deliver it in a solid way. So for all you TEDx people who are looking for your next speaker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. I can put in that time to do it. But geez, what else, brother? What else?
Well, you talk about being grateful too. I know we've touched upon it, but grateful for your health too, man. Because you go through that little scare with your kids, and you never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's one of the most important things that I believe. The way we eat and the way we exercise. I just think that is what I'm extremely, extremely grateful for. And then when we take that for granted so often, we go and have some fast food or have too much to drink or to have bad habits, and that right there, your health.
Right.
I believe is one of the most important things you'd be grateful for, because it makes everything else go good. It makes your family better. It makes you better. It makes you more productive.
Right.
All that taken consideration. So I know you're big on that as well, running like a madman too.
So. Yeah. I mean, and you know what? Actually, today in the Fatherhood newsletter, the fantastic Fatherhood tips, I sent out, just the one thing that we've hit on recently. When I say we, just talking in other groups. With Dave Gieselman and somebody else, Phil Halfpenny, we brought up the gratitude as an action, right? So when we act in gratitude towards ourselves, we feed ourselves well, we take care of ourselves, we don't, we take care of our things as an act of gratitude. And I think if we can reframe some of cleaning our laundry as an act of gratitude to saying, hey, I'm grateful that I've got a laundry machine. I'm grateful that I've got clothes. I'm grateful for the textile industry that makes me not have to sew buckskin together anymore. You know what I mean? Just think about everything that we've actually got, and then do things as an act of gratitude. Like, last week or the week before, the boys and I cleaned out the truck as an act of gratitude, not just because we wanted a clean vehicle, because I was grateful to have these things. And when you start putting that, this isn't a job I've got to do. I'm grateful to be doing this, or for you anyways. I'd be grateful to be doing this service as a coach to somebody else, right? Like, I'd be grateful to be serving somebody, to helping them to get to the next level. So that way your day is surrounded and filled with just gratitude, man, as an act. Your next step, I'm grateful for this next step, and I'm going to take this step as an act of gratitude towards something awesome. Yeah, brother.
What are you going to be grateful for next year? Where are Fatherhood for the rest of us massive goals? Where are you going to be next year?
Massive goals. Where's Elise right now? She's still here, but the big hair, the big hag, right? Was it Elise? I think was the first one that I heard, like a big, hairy, audacious goal, right? I think the big goals is going to be speaking. I'm going to reach out to.
Be more specific. I mean,
I want to speak about I went through a pretty amazing. This past year has been pretty amazing. I believe that the line in of itself, that children are a gift, for example, is what I would speak on. Would be, to say that they have opened up my servant's heart, allowed me to love in a completely different way and manner, and have given me a life that wouldn't be possible without children. And have helped shape me into the man that I am today, allowed me to become the man that I am today through having children. And therefore, children are a gift. And that would be the speech that I would give about fatherhood, and say, hey,
just go on and let me just say, hey, next year I'm going to do a TED Talk.
Yeah, next year I'm going to do a TED Talk. No, 2018 I'm going to do a TED Talk.
That's what I'm saying.
2018. I'm not next year. That's sure. I could say that for the rest of my life. 2018.
That's a big goal.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I can see it. I mean, I think they have them in North Carolina.
They got them. Yeah, they got them in. Look, man, they got. You can go to a map. You can go to. I've done it. I've gone to the TED. You can go to a TEDx map and just start picking. I'm gonna start picking them and start reaching out to the event coordinators.
Where do you see fatherhood from the rest of us in the year?
where do I see fatherhood for the rest of us in a year? Continuing to grow and continuing to help people through fatherhood. We as in all of me and we, fatherhood for the rest of us. At least one get together.
Okay.
Fatherhood for the rest of us.
An event.
An event. That's right.
That's all what it is, right?
Yeah, man. It's definitely going to be an event. It's not going to be a seminar. It's not going to be a get together. I want to have a. You and I spoke a little bit earlier about kind of going through like a spiritual awakening type thing. So sure. I want to include like spirituality and not be shy of that. And as it needs to be a part of fatherhood as something that we don't really talk about. Like you and dudes don't normally get together and be like, are you spiritual enough? I'm not sure if my spiritual tank is full. Right. And just maybe talk about it instead of dancing around it all the time. Cause that's kind of annoying. So I'm looking for like a spiritual assault. I don't know. Right. Like just kind of, let's just go do a couple things and get ourselves revved up as fathers with a little bit, I don't know, spirituality, maybe. I don't know, man. I don't want to beat anybody over the head over it with it either, but I feel like it's a facet of fatherhood and humanity, Western civilization that gets glossed over too much and also is kind of taboo because of XYZ. I don't know, man, but I
think it's taboo when we talk about we talk about spirituality. I think religious and spiritual are two completely different. I think just about most people. I mean, obviously, I know there's what do you call them? People that don't believe in anything.
Sure.
Whatever out there. yeah, but I think most people overall, whether you're Christian, Catholic, Muslim, Buddhist, all spirituality is I think that's when you put it all together, I think we're all spiritual. But when you get into religious, I know that's very specific, and that can kind of draw lines and put up fences. But I think when you all come together and have a common goal, I think all religions can come together and be as one. And I think that makes more powerful because we've talked about this 1,000 times with the way our society's set up to where we have to be one or the other. You have to be Republican, you have to be Democrat.
Fatherhood for the rest of us takes everything. We take it all.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly.
It blows me away. Why can't I be both? Why can't I be just me? Why do I have to go? Just because I believe one thing doesn't mean I'm completely the opposite thing. And I think that's how we get into trouble as a society when we put up these fences and we don't listen to each other talk. So,
Jeremy, I'm breaking down walls at Fatherhood for the rest of us events, brother.
I think it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Yes. All right, here's another question for you on the other side. Let's go.
Let's go ahead.
What keeps Brandon Hanley up at night?
My 5-year-old.
Not the things that stress you.
He comes in
that stresses, but what keeps you up at night?
I think I get anxious, since we're just being honest here. I'll get anxious that I'm not giving enough to my fatherhood group or to my family. I'm not giving enough of myself. Yeah. I'm not giving powerfully enough of myself, right? I'm not having the impact that I would like to have. I'm not a blunt force object.
Yeah.
That keeps me up at night.
Yeah. I get it. I get it completely. Boom.
Yeah, man.
No, that's if you'd ask me that, which go ahead and ask me, Jeremy, what keeps you up at night?
Hey, Jeremy, what keeps you up at night? Every time, what keeps the positive side, like tossing and turning?
Yeah, there a lot of things, you know what I mean? And that's what I think is interesting that I try and be authentic. You try to be authentic, man. There's a lot of things. It's not just one thing. Some things keep me up one night. Sometimes it's my health. If I don't feel good, I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm like constant thinker and over. What if I bomb a presentation tomorrow? What if I get in an accident tomorrow? What if I lose my job? I mean, those are the things that run through my mind constantly. It's interesting because those are the things that I think most people go through those times, man. And I think it sure doesn't happen every day. We all have that little, as we say, Mr. Mediocrity on your shoulder telling you why you can't do things.
Right.
But man,
so what do you, no, I got a question to you then. We're all being grateful. What's up, Samuel? Thanks for having me over for lunch today, man. Had a great time.
Samuel? Thanks for coming by, buddy. Thanks for inviting me too, Samuel. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
You were invited. You couldn't make it. When we hear Mr. Mediocrity, and we're busy expressing gratitude and we're feeling grateful for everything going on, what are you doing to get yourself out of those? Even dude, you can't get to sleep at night. How are you getting yourself to sleep when you're tossing and turning? You don't think you've got your job next day. You don't think you've got your health, any of that. How are you keeping yourself moving forward, falling asleep, and getting a good night's rest, man?
I do two things, and I the first one I always do is why not me? Why can't I be the next one? Why what's the difference between me and someone else? And I you got that voice in your back of your head telling you why you can't. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough. For me, I'm not tall enough. I hear it all the time.
A little bit taller.
Yeah, exactly. But why not me? That right there is the biggest thing, is why not me? And I think everyone should ask that question themselves. It sounds pretty simple.
I did it today.
Yeah, why not? Why can't I be the next? Why can't I be the next best one? Why can't I have the nicest things or be the best or whatever, have the best life? But why not me? I mean, I'm no one's better than me. I'm not better than anybody else.
That's right. We're all on the same playing field. We're all level. And I think that we all, as long as we want it bad enough, we got to want it bad enough, but we are just as capable as the next guy. It's kind of like when Neo and what's his face are in the Matrix, right? And they're fighting each other. What makes you think that you're actually faster than me in here? What's basically you're just in your own mind. It's just in your mind. Nobody's faster than the other person.
It goes years and years. One little thing happens when we're 10 years old. One thing happens at 13, and it just builds and builds and builds, and we build our life to where it is now. But when you think to yourself, why not me? And then the other thing I do is take one more step.
Yeah.
I just do one more thing. And sometimes I don't even know what I'm walking into. I really have no clue what's going to happen. I just do it. And, as long as it's not going to hurt me, it's not going to be, physically damaging. I'm not going to hurt anyone else.
Right.
I'll just take a chance. If I crash and burn, okay, well, at least I tried.
Yeah.
But what we find out, and what you found out, is that usually you don't crash and burn. Usually you come through with it.
Yeah.
Person, you do open up opportunities.
Yeah.
I would have never known that by staying where I was a year ago in Indiana.
Yeah, man. Listen, if you had some pretty amazing. Who'd you speak to? You had some pretty amazing guests on the podcast this year. Without you starting that podcast, you don't get to have those conversations. Without you starting this podcast, you don't have the job that you've got today, brother.
Yeah.
And it's not even that you stood up and said, "Hey, I want to work at Southwest in 8-9 months." You just said, "I want to get up and I want to motivate people every day, and I want them, I want to help the world." And yeah,
and the doors start opening. And that's what I'm extremely grateful for, is the I guess just the wherewithal. I'm not giving a shit and just moving forward. You know what I mean?
Listen, so I mean, I would like to again just thank my first guest of the Fatherhood for the Rest of Us. Again, you become my buddy over this past year. We've definitely pushed each other, got each other to different places, and it's been just an amazing year. It's an amazing year.
Can't wait for next year.
I'm ready, dude. I'm ready.
You know what I'm saying? What's next year going to be at this time next year? We should almost do this next year too. Yeah,
man. We should do it quarterly. We should just pop up quarterly. But that sounds like work.
I don't
sounds like something we got to schedule.
Right. I got nothing to schedule. Believe that. I can't manage my own schedule right now.
Well, now don't say that yet. You're fine. You're doing great. You're doing great work.
Yeah. We're just moving right along, my friend.
Yeah, man. Anything else that you think that you want to say that you're grateful for? Why don't you say something you're grateful for in advance, Jeremy? I think that's something that that's a good lesson that a lot of people probably aren't aware of to do. Say something that you're grateful for in advance.
Yeah, here I got a couple of good things for you here. I'm extremely grateful for where I'm at with my career and the people that are going to help me achieve my goals. Because it's the old acronym, together everyone achieves more. You know what I'm saying? And I can't do this alone. And I know myself better than anybody. I can't do it. So to be able to thank the people that I don't even know are out there yet, they're going to walk into my life because I'm going to keep going. The impact that they're going to make on my life it's emotional. It's real, and they don't even know it, and I don't even know who it is. not to say who's the next Brandon Haley, because there's only one Brandon Haley, but
there's only one voice of a generation, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe the voice of the next generation or the last generation, whatever. But you just don't know. You don't know who else is out there. You don't know who is going to be walking into your life that your paths will cross one day.
Yeah.
And with starting this new position at a new company where I don't know anything. It's intimidating. It's intimidating. It's a lot to learn, but it's people that are helping me and in the future where it's going to be and the lives that I'm going to be blessed enough to affect through coaching and motivating and the sales portion of it. I tell you what, this next year is going to be one of the best years, hands down, of my life. I don't know where it's going to take me, but I think that's part of the cool thing about it. You know what I mean?
If you knew the future, would it be any fun?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, no, it probably wouldn't be. Yeah. That's part of the journey. And you know what? It's even more exciting that I know in the next year, I'm going to crash and burn bad. But when you have that mentality going in.
I see that happening for you.
But you know what? I'm going to crash. We all have those bad days and I'm going to crash and burn. But when you do crash and burn, then you're grateful.
Right.
You're grateful for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
And grateful for the opportunities that are going to come up in front of you.
Hey, Jeremy, I got another quick question for you. Was there anybody who said, "What are you doing? What are you thinking with this podcast business? What are you thinking you're doing?" Was there anybody who was like, "Man, are you sure? What are you doing? Have you lost your mind?"
Well, I still have immediate family that won't listen to a podcast. They won't even listen to it. It's the craziest thing in the world because I think it's just it's walking on eggshells. I think it's the fine line between where they are jealous that maybe they've never taken those steps, you know what I mean? And then they use that as, well, that it's not going to work. This isn't going to be the right answer for you. And that's sad. That's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And, you know how it is, man. I work my butt off. I try and make as many people as happy as you can, but the only person that really matters for me is my immediate family here. I make them happy. Make everyone wants to be happy. I'll make them happy as well.
Right.
But yeah, man, there's a lot of people that are. A lot of those people have gone away.
Right.
A lot of the haters have kind of disappeared.
Right.
Sam Crowley talks about it, how they come out of the woodwork when you first start, but when they realize they can't get to you, they go on to the next person.
Yeah.
And he is exactly right, because now it's not. I don't have the haters. I don't have those people are gone. Yeah. It's not the people that are there to support. After the smoke clears, the people that are there to support you are there now. So, but you talk about haters, boy, I had some haters, my friend. I know I still have them, but they just don't come out anymore.
Nah, man, I'm super thrilled for you, man. Because
that's the same question for you, though. That's a good question.
You know what, Jeremy? What's funny about me is, in all honesty, if anybody that knew, so let's just pretend like you'd met me 10 years ago and you met some people that I knew and you said, "Hey, Brandon's going to be doing this podcast thing, getting up on the camera, they'd be like, "Yeah, that makes sense." and honestly, like Meg's on there right now. We're on a 20-second delay, even though she's downstairs, she probably can't hear me. But in all honesty, the one thing you probably wouldn't have seen me do or thought that I would do would be like the quit drinking, the triathlon, all the good stuff, all this positive, like that stuff, right? I literally stepped into a gym for the first time in my adult life last year, Jeremy.
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't for like anything other than let's just pop in. But again, if somebody had been like, "Hey, Brandon's gonna be doing this podcasting thing in 10 years," and everybody be like, Brandon.
What's he gonna do this time?
Yeah, right. It's kind of like a show. So I don't think people really hate on it. I've always had, I think I've always been fortunate enough to have people be excited for me to see kind of what I'm going to do next, myself included.
For sure.
I've always been surrounded by people, my mom, Meg, even the boys, who everybody's behind me, the neighbors, who know me and talk to me. They're like, "Hey, yeah, there goes Brandon. What's he going to do?" And so it's not like it's nothing. No, I've been lucky, man. I haven't had one person tell me I'm not the voice of a generation.
Yeah.
Not a single solo, not one.
Yeah.
I'm the voice of a generation.
You are not the voice of the generation. Who do you think you are? Yeah, exactly.
If not me, then who? Right? Why not me? That's literally like
That's the question. Why not me?
Why not me? So like each day you put on the same pair of pants day after day. You know what I want to say, one thing that I'm grateful for, Jeremy, is Groundhog's Day. I'm grateful for Groundhog's Day because I think a lot of people miss the point of that movie. It's not that life is the same every day. It's that you have the opportunity to change your life every day in just small ways to say, hey, yesterday went just like this. What if tomorrow I make this small adjustment so that, Andy McDowell likes me? What if I make that one tiny adjustment in my life to have the greatest life, the greatest day ever? That's the point of that movie. The point of that movie isn't that every day is the same and it sucks day after day and Groundhog's Day is awful. No, the day after day. If it's going to be the same tomorrow, I've got the opportunity to make it amazing because I know exactly how this day goes.
Do something different.
Yeah.
But society, we typically don't. We do the same thing over and over and over, and that's no way to live.
Oh, man.
That's no way to live. Gosh, there's a great movie that says that. No, your buddy. I'm having a day with forgetting stuff, but Steve Harvey. He talks about that. He talks about get out and do something different. Because life's never going to change. You got to make. He talks about jumping off that cliff.
Right.
Letting that parachute. If you never jump, you've got to jump at some point. You've got to see what life is worth living, and that's, to me, life's worth living for sure.
Absolutely, brother.
Back to the grateful thing, man. I'm grateful for it all.
Thanksgiving coming up. I'm grateful for you, brother. I'm grateful for this this opportunity to. We just wanted to pop on it and do this.
Yeah. And, 40 minutes. It's pretty good.
Yeah, man. So, man, again, grateful for you, brother. Excited for you. Excited for where you're going.
You too, brother.
And, I'm really just glad that we met this year.
Yeah, we got it. When are you coming to North Carolina?
I'm in North Carolina.
When are you coming to Nashville?
No, I don't know, brother. When are you coming out here? When are you coming out this way? Set up a meetup, man. So you could do some sales calls out here. Set up a meetup.
You know what? I will, because
at least left open door.
This young lady named Elise Archer. If you've ever heard of her, she's actually originally from somewhere close between you and me. So maybe I'll sneak down there and steal some of her customers or something. Or
maybe re-up them.
That's
all right, brother. All right. Hey, listen, I know we're going to talk a little bit afterwards, but thank you, Elise. Elise, grateful for you as well, sister. For anybody that is looking for a business coach, call Jeremy. And if he's not available, reach out to Elise Archer. I told her several times, actually, that it was like, I know I went in for like a sales coaching, but I kind of got life coaching, and I'm glad I'm glad that I signed up with Southwestern. They definitely treated me right, guys, and beyond. So I'm thrilled for you, dude. You're in an amazing place.
Perfect fit, my friend.
That's right. All right, I'm gonna cut it. But Thanksgiving, have a great one, everybody. You are blessed. You are abundant. This world, I don't know. I know you're not supposed to look at the world through rose-colored glasses. Do it anyways for the rest of the week. Who cares what they do?
Different angle, different picture of it. Absolutely.
Do it.